All right, let's do this. I promised that I was going to come on to YouTube and show y'all some love. I haven't shown y'all love in a while. I haven't been anywhere on YouTube. I've been neglecting my social media. I apologize. Charge it to my head and not my heart. We've been very, very busy on this side with readings, clients. Really, it's been predominating over all of that is, hey, what's going on? So good to see you. I haven't heard from you in so long. I was just looking at your coach earlier today. She was on a rant. She was on a rant about the Christians, man. I had to reach out to her, old Val. But really, it's been what's been predominating my time is teaching. You know, we've got the apprenticeship program that we've got going on, so that's been on Wednesday, so that has been taking up time. And also I'm an admin in a Facebook group now. Go figure, right? So keeping up to date and up to speed on that in the Hoodoo Bible Study group. If you're not a part of it, you definitely want to get in there. Again, that's shameless plug, right? Hoodoo Bible Study on Facebook. Hey Virgo, good to see you. Hoodoo Bible Study on Facebook. Just send us I'll put the link down below in this video. Send us a request. Good evening, Ladybug. And if you answered the questions and there's no issues there, I knew it wasn't going to take long. I knew it was not going to take long at all. Something is happening. Something is happening. People are awakening. They are wakening up to their the different modes and methods and devices of spiritual technology. People are waking up to their own ancestral wisdom. People are hearing the calls of dusty altars, you know, and it's incredible. I'm here for it. You know, I know I was born for such a time as this, so I'm loving all of it. So that's been going on. So I've been doing the Facebook group. Join that if you're not in it. And we admit new people on Mondays. Let me turn this. We admit new people on Mondays. Yeah, there's a shift going on. So yeah, that's that. So that's what I've been up to. And then this past week in class, we actually I lost my notes for that class. So it was very much impromptu, and I got a chance to think on my feet with my students. Last week we had to talk about mojo bags and what a mojo is and what it is not, how to identify well-made, poor-made, and just, you know, shitty mojo bags. A lot of stuff's out there. People call it a mojo bag because that's the new hashtag. It's a buzzword now. It's good for SEO, but it's not a mojo bag. So we talked about that last week. And then this past week we talked about Jacob, right? The son of Isaac in the Old Testament, and about how he was an incredible root doctor, spiritualist, spiritual practitioner. And we studied his life. Hey, Felicia, we studied his life as to how he used conjure to get him out of some very sticky situations and how we can apply that today. So we learned that, and then we ended after the break with talking about bath crystals. So we made baths and bath salts and things like that, and we've got a lot of it was left over. So now my house is smelling like, you know, jasmine and chamomile and lemon and orange and, you know, everything else under the sun. So I'm trying to get some of this stuff out of here. So if you guys are interested, I think I put a video up, a recorded video I did in another group about what I've been up to. So if you're interested in that, they're in the shop. I made sure to put them in there. But I thought, Doc, when you gonna put it online? So I've put it in the shop, all that good stuff. So that being said, that out the way, how have y'all been? It's been at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I know, since I've been, you know, on YouTube in the Conjure Cafe. You know, so I'm calling my live show the Conjure Cafe, because I'll be drinking my cafe. What have y'all been up to? What have y'all been working on? This is really good coffee. It's the nutmeg it's the nutmeg and the ginger that just ties it all together. Anyway, so you went to Hex. Okay, let's talk about Hex Fest. So I heard that in Hex Fest is the one. Is this the one in up north? Or is this the one in Louisiana? It's New Orleans. I'm thinking about the right place. I heard that some Christians or some zealous fundamentalists left letters under the doors of the people staying at the hotel. Did you hear about that? I saw a post about it. People were, yeah, whoa. See, I was telling my team about this. I thought that was hilarious. So yeah, so the story is I'm trying to see if I can find the post so I can read y'all what the letter said. People were taking pictures of it. So anyway, rumor was that people went down to Hex Fest. You know what Hex Fest is? It's like a magical conference basically in New Orleans. And evidently some fundamentalists, religious zealots, sent harassing letters and put them under the doors of the hotel rooms that the people were, that the tourists, you know, and the participants in the fest were staying at. And evidently it was stuff like, you know, Satan, we bind you, and, you know, you're going to hell, turn to Jesus, you know, you can't have our city. And I mean, it was, to me, it was hilarious. I remember coming out of those camps. Let me see if I can find the actual letter. Yeah, so I was telling my team about it. I was like, right. I was telling my team about it. I said, what do y'all, you know, think about it? What would have been your reaction? You know, if you woke up one day waiting on room service and there's a letter under your door. You hoping it's the newspaper for the day. No, it's the church bulletin. And one of my students said, well, Doc, you know how you raised us. You know, I'm going to take that letter, I'm going to anoint it with oil, I'm going to dust it with powder, I'm going to put a candle over it. Oh, my God. So, yeah, that was I'm trying to find, it was a couple of weeks ago. I was like, this cannot be real. This cannot be real. But she said it was real. It was the real deal. People are just ignorant. Folks are, what y'all should have did was sent them the link to my video about the Bible and hoodoo. So you should have did. But anyway, that was crazy. That was stupid. But yeah, that's why I did a video about this stuff. You know, people are just ignorant. People are just ignorant. People are just ignorant. Just pure point blank. Oh yeah, it's great. I have a friend out there. I don't know. I think he was at the. Yeah, I think he was a contributor, my good friend Hoodoo NeWage out there in Louisiana. Good people. I've seen a lot of people his way who are going through Louisiana. I can't find the letter for anything. I'm on one of my friends' pages, and anyway, I see when I see it. But people fear they don't understand. Some people they just don't want to understand. Some of my students are ministers. As you guys know, I was once, and I still am technically a minister. I actually been recently reordained. I got my licensure back, you know. And people just don't read their Bible. There's just no way. There's just no way. I've had people who've been in the church longer than I've been born in my class, and they're like, "Doc, you know, why'd I never read this?" I said, "Because, you know, I don't know what they're telling y'all in Sunday school and Bible study, but you're not reading the Bible. You're not reading the Bible." But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of conjure, a lot of spirituality, a lot of spiritual technology that is not even encoded, some of it's just very blatant in the scriptures. Whether you go from starting off from jump, you know, Abraham was an astrologer. You know, Jacob was a root doctor. He worked the mandrake root. He worked the poplar tree, the hazel tree, poplar hazel, the chestnut tree. You know, where I'm at, Joshua was also an astrologer, looking at the solstices, causing the sun to stand still and the moon to stand still. Moses, we know, Acts 7:22, he was learning all the wisdom of Egypt, including all of their arcane arts. I mean, we can just literally go down the line. Daniel, the great prophet, Daniel 4:4 says he was a master magician. You know, Joseph, the son of Isaac, the dreamer, was a man of divination. Genesis chapter 45 talks about that. Solomon, you know, the conjurer of the jinn. And we can just go, you know, all the way down the line. What am I thinking of? Where are we at? You know, don't get me started with Ezekiel. I don't know if we can back up. Isaiah, okay, was an herbalist, right? He makes conjure with the figs. He works with figs. Ezekiel makes his cakes. He does different, what we would now call, the modern vocabulary for it is the principles of correspondence, basically, okay, where God is saying, you know, beat your hands together and stomp on the ground. This is what's going to happen to the city. You know, he talks about boiling things in pots, Ezekiel does, breaking bones and things like that. You go to, I just can't keep up with it all. It's all in there, okay. Now, don't even get me started with, you know, the New Testament. I mean, you know, you just run rampant, okay. Elisha, that's what I was going to talk about. You know, Elisha uses dirt. I think it's 2 Kings chapter 7, I want to say. Tells about him using dirt, all right, in his work. Obviously, he just said Jesus uses dirt. Let me start with the New Testament. The prophet Agabus in the New Testament was a psychometrist, right? He read through objects, right? Remember, I think it's Acts chapter. I can't think about the top of my head right now, but you look at the prophet Agabus, and he takes the guy's belt and begins to prophesy, you know, based upon what he sees in the belt, and you know, all kinds of stuff. It's all in there. But you know, they don't read their Bible, child. I don't know what they're reading, but they should not read their Bible. There's no way in the world you can get halfway into Genesis and be like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. He did what? But yeah, these people are crazy. So she went to Hex Fest. One of the days I might go out there. But what else y'all been up to? Yeah, spitting dirt on open blind. That doesn't sound like root work to me. I mean, you digging in the dirt. I mean, he's blessing trees and cursing trees. You know, working spiritual baths and all kinds of stuff. And all kinds of things. So, okay. I can't find the article. I'm gonna stop looking for it anyway. So yeah, so that was that. Today in the Hoodoo Bible study, we talked about. Today was actually a short Bible study because we only had like one question. We talked about reversing work, right? What prayers to pray that reverse things sent to you. Simply spiritual bath. There it is. Ladybug, know what you're talking about. Reversing how to reverse certain spells sent to you. We also talked about works and how to use the Bible when it comes to stopping a liar and compelling the truth, right? How to, if a person has lied to you or you suspect they're lying to you, how to get them to tell the truth, and also how to prevent people from lying to you to begin with, right? It's one thing to try to find out the truth about a man. It's a whole other thing to stop them from lying to begin with. Yeah, so if you guys want, learn about that, it's in we did that live just a few hours ago. So Felicia, have you seen my video about altars? Somebody contacted me about altars and that digital download that I made. I don't know if it was you or somebody. I can't remember who it was. It was about I think it's been a month ago. It was a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if that was her, but somebody contacted me about wanting to get that product. And if that is you, basically what I did was did a webinar about creating sacred spaces, pretty much altars one-on-one. All right. I think it was like 2 hours and a half of content. We talked about ancestral altars. We talked about Bovedas. We talked about different types of altars, what an altar is, what it is not, how to know if you need an altar, how to make portable altars, how to work with different spirits, different energies, when you need to break altars down, how to know if your altar is dead. Okay. It was Pearl. All right, that's who it was. Okay, I knew it was somebody. She's a download, very informative. Thank you. I'm glad. I think that was you. I told her, let me know what you thought about the video. Now, this is my new thing on doing the whole digital download thing. So this is part of my New Year's resolution. Yeah, y'all remember those? Remember? From January. So that was part of my New Year's resolution this year. And I hadn't gotten to it but recently. So I'm going to make sure that I knock out my goals for the year. And that was one of them. Begin to, make digital products and teach more. The reading I got this year and what my spirits have been reiterating to me is teach more, teach more, teach more, teach more. So that's what I've been doing. I've really been doing that. That's why I haven't really been taking a whole lot of new cases, just because that's my energy's been funding into teaching and to preserving this tradition. But yeah, if what I'll do is I will put the link to that, I have to find it, in the comments section of this, for those who want to get it. Matter of fact, I don't think where is the link? I'm trying to think where the link is. I've lost the link. I put it somewhere. Let me see. Wow. I'll have to find it and put it down here because I'm like, where is the link? But yeah. Anyway, so that's what's been going on with me. Yeah, you definitely want to get that. It's now I'm not saying I go into every single minute detail about it. I didn't do a brain dump because that would just, there wouldn't be enough time. All right. It's one of your last YouTube. Okay, let me do that. Let me go back on my YouTube. And find it. Thank you for that. I knew I posted it somewhere. But it's a one-on-one. You will definitely come out knowing you'll be ready to get started. By the time I finish, you'll be anxious to get started. You'll know where to start and how to finish, as the old folks say. That was what I wanted to say about that. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. And we also talk about in that video how to work your altars, right? There are different ways you can structure your altar that will send a signal and a beacon to your spirits. All right. So, for example, there's a way you can set up your altar so that it is in a protective mode. All right. Or it's in attack mode, or it's in a mode to bring in wealth. Right. It may say that, you know, the house needs resources. We need a bill paid, or whatever the case may be, etc. That's true. That's true. Oh, think about the other videos we did in the Hoodoo Bible study. We did, I mean, this might have been like 3 weeks ago. It was about 3 weeks ago. We talked about, y'all don't get offended. If you do, I really don't care. But ammonia jars. The truth about ammonia jars. It was a very controversial topic, but I cited everything that I said. I proved, I left nothing but facts in the video. Some folks are kind of butthurt over it, you know, because I made the very bold claim. Well, not bold. I told the truth. Okay, that ammonia jars are only about 2 years old. I'm only about like 2 or 3 years old. Yeah, so it's like, oh yeah, according to traditional hoodoo, use the ammonia jar. That's not traditional hoodoo. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. People like, yeah, I learned this ammonia jar from my great-great-grandmother. Alright, bro. Okay. Sure you did. Anyway, let me stop. I can be petty. I'm a Taurus. So yeah, so that we talked about that. But yeah, so that out the way. Okay, I like Ladybug. Ladybug, you are you in the Bible study? Cause I be needing an amen corner sometimes. These folk, you know, they weren't raised that we was raised. Some of them were. They might have been raised Presbyterian. I don't mean no offense to Presbyterians. God bless y'all too. The frozen chosen used to call themselves. Y'all remember that joke? They used to call the Presbyterians the frozen chosen. I remember that. All right, yeah, y'all make sure y'all join that group. Anyway, so that being said, what have y'all been up to? If you have any questions about hoodoo, conjure, root work, spirituality, the spiritual technology of the African diaspora, just drop them in. The altar link is with Conjure Cafe. Oh, the last one I did 2 weeks ago. See, that's why I'm in the spirit. I be tuned in, tapped in, turned on, as Esther said. I was in the vortex for my New Age people. I was in the vortex. Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to become more frequent with these. It's just that I have to find a time to do it. That's all it is. I just have to find a time to do it. I'm thinking maybe Tuesday evenings. Thank you, Pearl. I'm about to pull it up. Here we go. This is it right here. Here, got it. Thank you, Pearl. God bless Pearl. Bless her real good. Yeah. I got stuff to do. He said, "Now you over here playing. You playing games. Listen, we got work to get to." Oh, but say, don't tarry. Y'all wanna tarry over here. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the chat if I can get to it. Okay, live. Where's the little chat thing? Here we go. Yeah, but I'm thinking maybe Tuesdays. Okay, maybe Tuesdays or before Hoodoo Bible study on Thursdays. Something like that. It'll be like Tuesday or Thursday. I need to see. Right. Okay. She's talking about that kind of tear. Now that'll take you back. They're not ready for that kind of stuff, you know. They're not ready for that kind of stuff. That's the old school stuff, you know. These days, you know, we walk up to the altar, lift your hands, say a prayer. They said, bam, you done been filled. I came up in an old country church in Hemingway, South Carolina, all right, with the wooden floors, okay? And they had, back then, they still had a tarrying bench, because I went to church with my grandmother, all right? She's still the chaplain, okay, of the she's chaplain about every ministry she's a part of now. Chaplain of the choir, chaplain of the pastors, aides, and other stuff. Y'all gonna start cutting up in the chat room. Right, you ain't got them. You ain't got them. You ain't got them. No, go back. Go back. Go back. The mothers will be in your ear. Say, call them, call them, call them, call them, call them. Oh, yes. Child, they meant that thing. You wasn't going to leave out of there with Casper, the friendly ghost. No, you was going to be filled with the real stuff, the real deal. That's what I tell my team today. I said, man, they said, Doc, your stuff move. I said, man, I got the Holy Ghost. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I got the Holy Ghost. Can't speak for nobody else. Oh. They would have them purse mints, but give one the purse mint. You ever want a little purse mint, peppermint? They have the peppermint and the little. Now I used to like one of my gods. He used to like the little strawberry mints. I couldn't stand those. I like the cinnamon mints. That was my candy right there. If you wanted me to stop acting up in church, just give me a little cinnamon candy and I was fine. I was good. Got to keep them in. Y'all are not about to cut up in my chat. Yeah, I didn't like those. I didn't like those. It was like I didn't like those. Give me a good peppermint or a cinnamon candy, cinnamon disc, and I was fine. And give them the whole bag up from the dollar store for $1. That and the little what was the others? What was the other ones? You remember Worth? I think it was Werther's. I think that was the name of the. It's like a caramel candy. Anyway. Anyway, I'm not fooling up with y'all. But yeah, so if y'all have any questions about any work y'all are currently doing, y'all want my input on, or some considerations, drop them in the chat box and we'll talk about it. I got about another couple of minutes. Right. Because you know we was apostolic. You couldn't join and you got to be born in. And so you wouldn't get out of church till at least 2 o'clock in the morning. Maybe. I remember days I get out of church, go right to class, and I bet not go to sleep. I wish they would come on mama saying that, okay, Coach, he was listen, so this past week, I don't even close the altimeter. Okay. So this past week, I had always talked about this for years, that Bishop Mason was a worker. And actually there was an article about it. I can't find it right now. I think it was done by Denise Alvarado. Don't like everything she does, but on that point she made a point. But I couldn't put my hand on it. Anyway, so last week, one of my students, who was also a pastor, they sent the photograph. They sent the photograph of Bishop Mason with, his roots and stuff that he worked with, and and she was shocked. I said, I've been told y'all that. You just found the picture, but that's old school. That's old school. Just recently, this goes back to her point earlier. Just recently was there this inner persecution, I will call it, an inter-persecution of spiritual workers in the church, right? Before then, that was the prophets, right? That was that were the praying women, right? The travailing women, the mother of the church, right? So where you get, things like, Mama so-and-so, all right? Mama so-and-so, into, the mother of the church, okay? So you had issues, you say, mother, I got this man ain't doing right. She said, well, baby, let me go pray on it. They know how to get a, I was just talking about this just last week, just Wednesday, about getting a prayer through. So, then I told them about, because another one of my friends, what was it? So Friday, I was, me and my godson went to a birthday party of a friend of mine. See you in the spirit now. Now she all in my house now. I don't go into details about what happened last week, but anyway, last Friday, I was with my godson, and I'm gonna get to your question there. And he's kind of new to the whole, you know, quote unquote church scene or whatever the case. I mean, he had some deals in church, but they were very peripheral. So I was kind of giving him some backdrop and some history of, you know, how old this oil is. And so I, you know, took him to look, you know, showed him things like, especially if you coach, you would know these people. Oh man. Mother Boyd, right? And Mother Gertrude, and who was I thinking about? Who did I tell him about? Mother Boyd, Mother Gertrude. Man, it'll lose me right now. But we're just kind of going back, you know. Oh yes, I can see her face. Because one of my good friends, that's how we met. Jesus. What is your name? Evangelist. They call you Evangelist. Right? L.C. Shaw. Thank you, Lord. L.C. Shaw. Mother L.C. Shaw. Now, she was a mystic. I don't care what nobody said. I know that I'm more than qualified for. Oh yeah, Ms. Z, that's old school stuff. There's nothing new, right? You know, having the money drawn on the altar, having that money oil, that blessed oil. You know, remember Reverend Ike, right? You know, he used to say, "You can't lose with the stuff I use." A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know that Reverend Ike is right out of South Carolina. Okay. If you guys follow my Periscope, then you know Miss Victoria, right? Miss V, you know, back when she was in the Pentecostal church, she used to preach for Reverend Ike's church. I can't remember exactly where it is right now. The city eludes me, but out of South Carolina. I can't think of the name of the city. That's where he got his roots from. He's from South Carolina, right? He used to have, you know, the coins and the prayer cloths and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. All right. So let me go back and answer these questions. I didn't. Okay. Okay. How to open and close altar meditation. So one of them is you can do with music. All right, music. So for example, on my ancestral altar, you know, I wake them up, I salute them with old songs, all right? Old hymnals that I came up hearing. Some of them would be, you know, slave spirituals. You know, both of them, my family, my father and my mother are from Charleston, right? So you know, they'll tell you to use like bells, or like a little chime bell to, you can ring like 3 times to get the spirit's attention. You know, for me, I may, you know, do that, but oftentimes, I just do the Charleston clap, you know. You know, that, which is pretty much the basic tempo of all of the, like the, you know, the Charleston style hymns and stuff are to that beat. You know, this some of the clap, 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 you know, that kind of thing. So I will sing, you know, old pretty songs that I knew that my grandfather raised in church, you know, his old hymns, things like that. And I do my opening prayers for the day at my ancestral altar. Certainly you can open it up by lighting your candles if they've gone out, the night before, refreshing them, whether that is with water, okay, your candles. Some people will burn incense. Some people won't. What you can do instead is, you know, let's say it's your grandmother, your grandfather, whatever. They might have had a preferred cologne or perfume. You can spritz that, all right, to kind of open up and stir the ashe, right? Stir their attention in your direction. And so by extension, okay, you can close just in the reverse fashion, right? Just in the reverse fashion. I would not turn my back on my ancestral altars, customary to either bow or to take a few steps backwards, still facing the altar, and then you can, you know, turn around. But to just turn your back to them is said to be insensitive and indecent. They need to say anything. You can't, right? Like I said, I say my, you know, my morning prayers there. Greet them, right? Greet them. If you were raised, let's say maybe it's your mother, your father, you know, how would you greet them when you got up in the morning, right? When you guys were living together. Or if it was your grandparents that you live with or that you were visiting, so on and so forth. You can say things that, you know, express gratitude for, you know, as they say in E5, for your, you know, your ire, you know, your good destiny, all right? That you're grateful for doors being opened up to you, that you have health and strength, that blessings have come to your family, that your family's name has not been cut off, right? And that you speak to, you know, your ancestors, known and unknown, near and far, on your mother and your father's side, right? And all those who mean you well and who intend to bless you. Something to that, you know, something to that effect. Let your conscience guide you henceforth. My Old Testament voice. All right. So, good evening. So I'm just wondering, what am I doing wrong? I've been burning city work candles for months and still no luck getting jobs that I know I am more than qualified for. I have a degree in mortuary science and I can't even get an internship. All right. So, when you're doing let me give some considerations, all right? When doing, like, for example, steady work, okay? Does steady work get you jobs? Yes. But I find that it's more efficacious once you have a job, all right, to either work for raise, promotion, bonuses, to work to be transferred to other projects that are more favorable than the one you're currently on. And also, a lot of people don't know this, if somebody's working to get you fired, steady work, again, keeps you steadily employed on that job. So I find it to be more efficacious when the person actually has a job that they have, you know, been established in. But that being said, when it comes to protracted periods of time, I mentioned this in the Hoodoo Bible Study group, and I recommend that you join and get that video. I think it will edify you about working things over a period of time. All right. From my experience, candles are not always the best go-to for protracted work. All right. They're good to give you a boost and to get the momentum going, get the ball rolling. But for extended periods of time, they don't seem to do very well. You end up having to keep lighting them, keep burning them, and you'll just keep getting like a sugar rush, if you will, or a caffeine buzz. Okay. Yeah, the Hoodoo Bible Study. It's on Facebook. All right, it's my Facebook group on Facebook called the Hoodoo Bible Study. I and Sean Laveau are admins there. So in place of that, in place of that, work something that is a spiritual device that's used for a protracted period of time, like a lamp. Hey, Ken, God bless you. Like a lamp. All right. So when you have a situation that is going to work for an extended period of time, you want to employ working a spiritual lamp. All right. Which are very easy to do. Pretty much you're working like candles. Okay. But you can keep refilling them. And as long as there's fuel in them, they will not abate their effect. It'll just be a continual thing. That's number one. Number two, okay, I would do works, let's say powders, for example, all right? I would dress myself with powders, all right, particularly like in my shoes, all right, as I'm going to be interviewed, I'm going to apply for certain things, all right? Another thing I would do is, along with your candle work or your lamp work, or however way you're working your illuminations, that you combine that with your resume or your job applications. There should be a master business card, a master resume, a master copy of your applications. Thank you. Of your applications, all right? And that should be set on your money altar, all right? So as you are going out, you're going to dust those papers with your powders. You're going to oil them down with your oil, right? You're going to set them under your candle so that that works, what we call the doctrine of contagion, okay? So that like affects like, all right? And because everything else you send out in the world is a copy of it, all right? You understand genetics, how genetics work. If one gene is bad, all the genes after it are bad. If one gene is good, all the genes duplicated from it are also good, right? The scripture says that like, all right, every seed should produce after its own kind. So in the same way that happens with fruits and vegetables, think of your money altar, your master bill, your master business card, your master resume, your master application as a seed. It's going to duplicate and replicate after its own kind. So every time you send out a copy of it, it's going to carry the same virtue, the same power, the same ashe as was sitting on your altar. All right. In the meantime, we actually have a thread in the Hoodoo Bible study about somebody asked about employment. One verse I'm thinking off the top of my head, and I think it's Job chapter 1. And I want to say at verse 10, don't quote me, I'll look it up in just a second. But it talks about that God blessed the work of his hands, right? Those are the type of verses that you want to utilize in your work, okay? So for example, in your master cover letter, okay, on the back of it, you might actually want to write out by hand, you know, that verse and a prayer that God will bless the work of my hands, right? Everywhere I go, I'm also thinking about see, I'm thinking about Esther, I'm thinking about Daniel, I'm thinking about Joseph, okay? Because all of these people were looked upon with favor, and that favor led to employment, right? Joseph, his gifts were seen by Pharaoh. He became prime minister, Zephaniah. Daniel, the same thing, right? He looked upon with favor because of his natural gifts and became, you know, the king's chief advisor. Esther looked upon with favor and she became queen. These are all forms of public service and employment, all right? It's look me over, was what they call it now in Hoodoo. Look me over type works, okay? That's what I hear in my ear for you. Or there's a quick question that says, does money soap work? Certainly. You know, I'm telling you, my mentors always say, it works if you work it. It works if you work it. Okay. But yes, money soap does work. All right. Well, that's kind of a misnomer question, because I don't know who made the soap, and I'm not here to give recommendations or like this is good work or that's it. I don't get into all that. But if the soap is made right, then yes, money soap works. That's what I'm trying to get to. Okay. Somebody just bought, you know, Dove and say, hey, this is money soap, you know, that kind of a thing. You know, you can get, like I prepare certain conjure soaps, right? Using black soap as a base. You got some best soap over here. And we add different medicines, what they call a kose, something called a kose, conjure medicines you mix it into the black soap. All right. And we prepare it. We call it prepared soap. You got them for seduction, for money, for protection, etc. So the Hoodoo Bible studies are done Thursday nights. Normally I tell them I'll be on 9 o'clock conjure people time. Okay. Eastern. So I might get in 9, I might get in 9:15, I might get in 9:30. Okay. Last night I was really late because I had to go to the river and drop a friend off. She was with me out there, and that was a whole other situation. But normally it's about 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Facebook. All right. So yeah, let me make sure I didn't miss any other questions. Okay. Yeah. Let me also tell you one little other tip. And you may have never heard this anywhere else. Here goes one of a Conjure exclusive. When it comes to employment, some of the go-to, oh yeah, sounds really cool people. Some of the go-to things is, carry a mojo bag on you, dress yourself with powders, dress your resume with powders, sprinkle powders as you're going in there, work, the person's name paper, the basic stuff as it were. Okay. But what you may not have considered, the name of the group is Hoodoo Bible Study. I'll leave the link in the description of this video. What you may not have considered is, well, why yes, you should work on yourself, oils, powders, and so on. Incense, smoke your clothes out. Why yes, you should, work the person who's going to interview you or your potential boss. But something people don't think about is working the environment. And I mean beyond just, anointing the doorknob or dropping powders as you're going into the interview room. Part of the philosophy is that something called, the proper term is the genus Loci, all right, or the spirit of the place, all right, that every place has a spirit, all right. If you look in, if you ask the Greeks, they will talk about how you have the dryads, which are the spirits of the trees, but then you have the hamadryad, the spirit of the forest, right? You've got the oceanids, right? The spirits of the ocean, and so on and so forth. But that you find also in the Bible. Okay, let me just go back to my roots. You also find in the Bible when you have things like they will have hyphenated names, like for example, when Abraham goes up to sacrifice Isaac, he calls that place Mount Moriah, right? And that Jehovah Jireh right, is the Lord or the God of that. That's the spirit of that place, right? The God that provides, right? Or when David broke through enemy lines, he called that place Perizim, which means breakthrough. And he called the God there Jehovah Perizim, the God of breakthrough. So I said that to say this. Every area, every locale, genus loci, as in location, has a spirit, a consciousness. All right. In other words, there is a conscious and an aware environment you can also work. So, okay, if you go to the ATRs, all right, we also have the spirit of the place, whether we call them the Impungo, whether we call them the Orisha, all right, we see the spirit of the ocean as what? Yemaya. The spirit of the river as Oshun. You know, the crossroads as Eshu. So on. The spirits of the place. So in the same way you can work the spirit of the place, you can also work the place you're going to get employed at. What do I mean by that? Have you ever thought about making an offering to the spirit of that location that the job is at? Think about it. If the place actually likes you, if the place is obedient to you, right, then it's going to influence everything else under its influence or under its domain. The CEO, the CFO, the boss, HR, everybody in there is going to feel that because they're in that place 24/7. You know, you've poured out libations on those grounds. You've given derecho. You've left coins, right? You've fed that plot of earth. And you've spoken to, you've prayed to, you've venerated, you've honored the spirit of that place. All right. There you go. It's a Conjure exclusive. Now, see, somebody else gonna talk about this. Y'all, somebody will put this up on YouTube in a week talking about they came up with this. Y'all know, I never thought of that. Right? You're trying to get, but you know, the spirit of Walmart. Or Blue Cross Blue Shield, or, you know, Vogue magazine, or whatever. All right. Work with the spirit of that place. Okay. You know, take some dirt from there. All right. Set it on your altar. There you go. I've seen great results with that on top of, you know, the other things that people do. All right. That really is the that moves some things, because literally the location likes you. Now that's something all unto itself. So yeah, that's my other thing. All right. Yep. All right. Well, that is Bible study Thursday. Okay. Yeah, check out the group. Yep, do that. Name is Hoodoo Bible Study. All right, yes, I'm up to date. Okay. So, any last minute questions? I got like a few more minutes here. It's the nutmeg and the ginger. That's what it is. That has just made this. I was over here looking for what? Oh, I know what I was looking for. I'm trying to get that link. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that is think I think I walked into something. My knee been hurting really bad. How can I get it off me? Spiritual baths. First and foremost, I always tell people. People say, Doc, where do I get started with spiritual work? Number one is ancestral veneration. That's the first thing. Number two is spiritual hygiene. Spiritual hygiene. I have found that in most cases, nobody's throwing at you. In most cases, nobody's throwing at you. You know, my motto is, your ass ain't cursed, your ass just crazy. I said that to say this. Sometimes we need to keep up on our spiritual hygiene. Okay? In other words, you know, doing our baths, our cleansings, and so forth. All right? That's where I would start off. All right? Doing some cleansing baths. Okay? Do it for about a week or so, especially if you've not been keeping up prior to this happening. You need to kind of do some backup maintenance, as it were. I would start there. All right? I believe, that's what I hear in my ear. I believe that if you just upgrade your spiritual hygiene, that stuff will abate. It will leave. Particularly like the spiritual baths. And then once we talk about spiritual cleansing, then we go into protective measures. All right. But I will start off with cleansing. Okay. PayPal. Buttons. View. Save buttons. All right. That's what I will start off with. Spiritual cleansing. All right. And right. Girly stuff. Yeah, you know, you're trying to want to have a clean space. So what do you recommend? Out the top of my head, without going into any deep specifications, let's do I hear you. Let's do a salt and ammonia bath. That may sound real simple. Salt and ammonia, right? So I would get, I would do a 3-day bath, okay? And I would take 3 handfuls of salt. It can be kosher salt if you deep, you know. Himalayan salt if you real deep, you know. They can be real deep these days. They're like, Doctor, I need to take kosher salt, rock salt, black salt, Himalayan. I said, my God, man, just you know, just table salt. Which brand? Should I use Morton? You know, people get deep. Anyway, get whatever salt you have. Okay, get 3 handfuls, okay, of salt. Add that to your bath. All right. A handful of Epsom salt. Okay. And 3 capfuls of ammonia, preferably lemon scented ammonia. All right, to the bath. No more than that. All right. The next day, you're going to do the same thing. 3 handfuls of regular, you know, of salt, whatever your salt is. 1 handful of Epsom salt, and then 2 capfuls of ammonia. The third and final day, again, you're going to do 3 handfuls of your salt, 1 handful of Epsom salt, and 1 capful of lemon ammonia. So you see, we worked our way down. Okay, and that's because we want to kind of come in with a bang and breach that stuff open. All right, if it's really heavy stuff, with a big punch, with 3 capfuls. I never think we might eat more than 3 capfuls of ammonia. Ammonia's very, very strong stuff. That's what I would say to do. All right. If you've done that, all right, and you've not seen any change, all right, over the course of 3 days to a week, contact me. All right, contact me, and we may need to do a divination. Actually, maybe something a little bit more serious, something more dense, as it were. Which reminds me, in closing, I am going to do a video, so you guys look out for it, called Signs, Wonders, and Miracles, the Myths of Manifestation. How many of you have heard, this is me ending, I feel like an old preacher, right? I'm coming to my close now. 2 hours later. No. How many of y'all have heard the saying that, you know, hoodoo works in threes, right? You should see results in 3 days, 3 weeks, and 3 months. How many of y'all have heard that? Okay, here is the view code. Yeah, I've heard that email. Finally, I got the link. Anyway, y'all probably have heard that before. If you've heard that, that's a myth. If you've done work long enough, you know that's not true. Okay, the 3 day, 3 week, 3 month rule is not a standard. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that in my video about why that's the case, why it's not the case, where this myth came from, and what to do about it. All right, so that's that. I'm out of here. If y'all need anything, I will leave my information below in the end of this video. I'm going to, you know something, I finally got the link to the video about altars. I'm gonna post it right in here. See if it'll let me post it in here. All right, I think Papa Lula's live. Let me go check him out. Yep, there it is. Oh wow, it showed up. You guys can click on that. All right, so I'm gonna go check out Papa Lou and then get back to work. It was a pleasure being with you guys. I didn't mean for it to go over a whole hour, but y'all was, yeah. All right, that being said, y'all have a good one. I hold y'all in the light of God that never fails. And I pray that by you, the Lord will work wonders. Now, how you end this thing? That's the question. Oh, Lord. Oh, there we go.